Hello, my name is Shara Pupi, and this is my Trends Analysis Report for Contemporary Issues in Education. Continuous improvement, according to the Learning Session 7 PowerPoint, has been a slow trend to take effect in education. However, with the world so rapidly changing, it is absolutely essential that the academic world keep pace. Continuous improvement involves a change in mindset. According to the Learning Session 7 PowerPoint, schools must be aware of the competition. In 2010, the Pennsylvania Department of Education Academic Achievement Report listed 5 cyber charter schools as having taken the PSSA state assessments. Of those 5, only 2 reached AYP. PA Cyber is not satisfied with simply using PSSA data to assess our student learning and achievement. Therefore, we use the Diagnostic Online Reading and the Diagnostic Online Math assessments as well. In place is a response to intervention team who research and test various intervention strategies for effectiveness, and they, with the student's instructional supervisors, analyze each student's assessment data to identify areas of strengths and weaknesses, and from that data, students are placed in the appropriate intervention to supplement their regular instruction. PA Cyber has also been effective in various other initiatives and goal-targeted areas in the past year, including, but not limited to, increasing student enrollment, the opening of 4 satellite offices offering the Bricks and Clicks program across the state of Pennsylvania, as well as to remain cutting edge by offering the iPad Initiative pilot program. Similarly, PA Cyber is working towards increasing our graduation rate for the 2011 and 2012 school year. As always, increasing student enrollment is at the forefront. And lastly, to ensure that instructional supervisors are as productive and knowledgeable as possible, PA Cyber has begun a multi-stage evaluation process, evaluating instructional supervisors regarding their performance as well as their servicing of families' needs. Society is becoming less and less loyal to brands and products. Stakeholder satisfaction is essential. A survey was given in 2010 as part of the Middle States accreditation process. The participants included students, parents, faculty, staff, administrators, and board members. Among those, in all of the areas the survey asked about, from school mission and philosophy to safety and physical space, less than 2% of those asked rated the school with the 2 lowest ratings in each area. What makes PA Cyber different from other public brick-and-mortar schools is the fact that students choose to come to us. We are the alternative for stakeholders dissatisfied with their previous schools. We are the competition. If a student or parent is dissatisfied, they can easily withdraw and return to their previous or attend another school. This obviously will drastically impact the funding and thus transfer to serious changes in quality from staffing to curriculum. Those who are with us and have been for a number of years are obviously very satisfied as they have not chosen to go elsewhere. If someone is dissatisfied, there are multiple platforms to communicate their concerns, including Facebook, Twitter, parent forums, and they can always discuss them with their instructional supervisor. As I previously emphasized, there is no time for complacency. In terms of student performance from an academic standpoint, PA Cyber is taking the right steps to ensure student success and positive outcomes in student learning. Course pacing requirements were key to promoting student progress, however, we need to do more. For example, as the policy currently stands, once a student's 5-month deadline expires, the student receives a 0 for any remaining assignments and their grade is then averaged. 30-day extensions can only be granted in the most extreme circumstances. The policy on granting extensions needs to be a bit more lenient. Students should be allowed a 30-day extension if they are working and are within 1 unit of completion. This will still allow students to complete a 1-credit course within 1 full year. Similarly, the credit recovery courses have been very successful thus far. However, the course needs to be modified. Right now, the course is simply the entire regular course with only the assessments required for completion. These courses need to be scaled back with assessments only on the most pivotal points. Increasing our graduation rate is obviously essential. However, the GAP or the Graduation Assistance Program, as it exists right now, will not be effective. In essence, a team of 3 people is responsible for providing the additional support for the students enrolled. We have over 600 seniors who are behind pace for graduation. It does not seem realistic for 3 people to take the time necessary to spend working with these kids. The point of GAP is to provide extra support in addition to what the IS is already doing. They are willing to do whatever it takes for those students to graduate, including home visits, weekly visits, and daily phone calls. Rather than enrolling all 600 of those students in the program, each academy needs to analyze the list of seniors who are behind. Which of those students has a realistic chance of graduating within the mandated time frame? Unfortunately, we have seniors who came to us and behind and will only continue to work if we continue to work with them, given them the time that they need to graduate, but there is simply no way that they will finish in less than a year. Only those students who can realistically graduate in the time mandated should be enrolled in the GAP program. Rather than just conduct a survey when it's necessary for accreditation, surveys should be conducted yearly. At the end of each school year, parents, students, faculty, and staff should be given the opportunity to express concerns and give feedback on their school year. Data should be analyzed and actually considered in improving the school. It would also be a good idea to send past graduate students a survey asking for feedback on how well they were prepared for life, academically and socially, post-graduation. In my experience alone, the primary complaint for parents and students has been our constantly changing platforms and assessment management systems. Students get acclimated to one system, and before long, we switch to another. Students and parents have really struggled this year in particular with the adjustment, and it has impacted students' grades as they have had a difficult time finding and submitting assignments in the new system. We need to find the balance between remaining cutting edge and changing for the sake of change. If something is not broke, we do not need to fix it. It is obviously essential for any successful school to not only recruit, but to also retain great teachers. Bushaw and Lopez of the Phi Delta Kappa Gallup poll of the public's attitude toward the public schools claims that Americans have reached their own conclusions about what's necessary to ensure a good education for all children. Identify and retain great teachers. This trend is not only true in our traditional brick-and-mortar schools, but also in our alternative schools. For example, at PA Cyber, recruiting and retaining great teachers is just as much an obstacle and challenge as it is in brick-and-mortar schools. The Learning Session 6 PowerPoint states that enrollment changes and restrictions in class size, salaries, problematic subject areas such as foreign languages, math, and science, and special education, and the increase in expectations and requirements have affected education in general. These important details not only affect education in general, but PA Cyber in particular. PA Cyber must staff and keep great teachers just like traditional brick-and-mortar schools. PA Cyber has the same content areas, and the implementation of a science, technology, engineering, and mathematics school will make it even more difficult, especially in the areas of math and science. Bushaw and Lopez also state that Americans are concerned that their local public schools are having a hard time getting good teachers. PA Cyber is a public school, therefore this threat, whether perceived or otherwise, affects my organization. Threats in the recruiting and retaining of great teachers at PA Cyber are the community at large, lawmakers, and traditional brick-and-mortar schools. The community has still not yet bought into the fact that PA Cyber is a valid choice in education, which makes great teachers shy away from employment opportunities. Some lawmakers are equally guilty of not buying into this not-so-new way of educating our children. This particular threat may much more heavily impact PA Cyber if enough government officials decide that there is no need for cyber schools in general. Last, but definitely not least, are the traditional schools who feel as if PA Cyber is taking away from their organizations without realizing that PA Cyber is a genuine alternative for many students who are unsatisfied or not being serviced at their schools. A recommendation is to show the community, lawmakers, and traditional brick-and-mortar schools that PA Cyber is a legitimate option so that recruiting and retaining great teachers will become easier. We must publicize AYP results as well as our recent Middle States accreditation. A strategy for recruitment would be to recruit Generation Y teachers, as stated in the Learning Session 6 PowerPoint. A strategy for retention, also taken from the Learning Session 6 PowerPoint, would be to have school policies promote retention. The course of action is to communicate recommendations and strategies within the organization, community, to lawmakers and traditional schools. A timeline that will prepare PA Cyber for addressing this trend would be immediate communication within the organization, followed by a 2012 spring communication to the community, lawmakers, and traditional schools. In order for any school to be effective, that school must prepare students for the future. Preparing students for the future beyond high school is essential. We must analyze what students are doing after they graduate. Are students choosing workforce over college? Are students opting to obtain a GED rather than a high school diploma? Are high school graduates more prepared for the world of work than a high school dropout? We must look at the trends and we must analyze the data. U.S. labor statistic reports that as of October 2010, 68.1% of high school graduates are enrolled in a college or university. USA Today reports that 80% of students are graduates of high school or a higher education, compared to 75.2% in 1990. This occurred due to a less dropout rate before the 9th grade. There are various threats at PA Cyber that stand in the way of us preparing students for their future. One is the threat of not being granted AYP status for the 2011-2012 school year. Another is students not making the 4-year graduation cohort, thus becoming a 5th-year senior, students not being promoted to the next grade level, students deciding to drop out of high school for the workforce, and a decrease in enrollment at large. Students enrolled at PA Cyber have the opportunity to earn college credits while still in high school. Students can earn up to 24 credits during their junior and senior year of high school and are awarded up to $600 per semester and $1,200 per year to take these courses. While in their junior and senior year of high school, students can attend a variety of colleges and universities in the area. They can choose to be enrolled online or on a campus. Students must maintain a 3.0 GPA. Their instructional supervisor must recommend the student for the scholarship. They must maintain good standing, keep their coursework on track, and complete on time or ahead of time. And also they must take 3.5 credit courses at PA Cyber per year to be enrolled in the college program. We need to offer more AP students college courses as well as AP courses for high school students. We also must offer courses of interest, offer more interventions for students, and offer open tutoring and Title I services much more readily. We need to make cyber education more appealing for families and offer other incentives to get them here. We have to prepare students to graduate in 4 years. We have to create more credit recovery courses to get them there, and credit recovery courses must be made available to 7th and 8th grade students. More instructional staff needs to be hired, especially for those students who are dramatically behind in grade level. Similarly, we must offer more life skills courses for special education students and students who are not college bound. By the 2014-2015 school year, 90% of now 9th grade students must be on track with at least 16.5 credits. By the 2014-2015 school year, 85% of PA Cyber students must be going on to college. And by the 2014-2015 school year, PA Cyber must have 15,000 students enrolled from grades K4 through 12.